All right, guys, we're back here. As we promised, we do have a great guest with us. His name is Brian Crawford. He is a beat writer for the Lansing Lugnuts, the A affiliate for the Toronto Blue Jays. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Thank you for having me.
Brian, it says here that you're a beat writer for the Lansing Lugnuts, also for Jays Prospect and for Baseball Essential. You're also a member of the Internet Baseball Writers Association of America, or the IBWAA. And also, you're a huge Michigan State Spartan fan.
Yes, I am.
Welcome to the podcast, man.
Okay, thank you for having me.
No problem. So, how long have you been a beat writer for the Lansing Lugnuts?
This year's my 5th season. I started at the beginning of the 2012 season.
Perfect. And how did you get involved in this? What exactly drove you to do this?
It was just a hobby that kind of came up for me. My wife was attending law school in Lansing, and right before we moved out there, I had to leave my job because I had a medical condition that took away a lot of my eyesight. So I was just kind of looking for a hobby, and I connected with April, who runs JaysProspects.com. She asked me, because I attended some of the games for the Lugnuts, and I kind of let her know that I went to some of the games, and gradually over time she asked me if I would be interested in writing about the players and getting a press pass, and yeah, it just kind of started from there. The first year I basically was the 2011 season. At the end I kind of took pictures for the website, and then over the off season they kind of asked me if I'd be more interested in becoming a writer. So it was just something out of the blue. I didn't really expect it to happen, but it just sort of happened. I didn't really, it just took some practice. The first couple of years, I was just trying to figure out how to kind of really take these interviews I got with the players and turn them into quality articles. And after a couple of years, it just got better and better. I've gained a little bit more of a following over the last few years, and that's how I got to the point I am today.
Yeah, I will say it is quite interesting, your Twitter handle. I do enjoy getting the updates from Lansing. Without any kind of journalism background, did you find it kind of a challenge to kind of all of a sudden just jump into being able to do this kind of thing?
Yeah, it took a little time. The first year, I would say that it was really hard trying to kind of come up with angles for the articles because I didn't study journalism in college. So it took a little time. I would say the first year and a half, I would say it was a little bit of a challenge. Like, they kind of coached me at the site, gave me some pointers, and after I got about 2 years into it, I felt a lot more confident in myself that I could kind of come up with creative angles for the articles and really put all the quotes in from the players in a easy to follow, easy flowing format.
Right on. Did you ever play baseball in your whole life at all, or?
I did as a kid. I played in Little League. I didn't play at a really high level. But I played a couple seasons as a kid, so I had the basic understanding of the sport.
Wow. So we'll get right down to brass tacks here then, man. We had some questions here that we wanted to kind of direct towards the actual Lansing Lugnuts themselves. Again, being the Class A affiliate for the Blue Jays, is there any current MLB players that you've seen come through Lansing?
Oh, yeah, there's several. I've seen Aaron Sanchez, Noah Syndergaard, Justin Nicolino, Anthony DiScalfani, Roberto Osuna, wow. Daniel Norris, wow. Kevin Pillar.
And you've interviewed a lot of these guys?
Dalton Pompey.
You've interviewed a lot of these guys?
Yes, I have interviewed all of them. I've wrote articles on all of them. Yeah, it's been quite a progression over the last couple of years.
Yeah, for being a brand new podcast like we are, it's kind of cool that it's, being able to talk to somebody like you. We really appreciate you taking our time. We just want to hit a couple questions on some players here. Rob has some players outlined that he wanted to talk to you about there.
Yeah, so I mean, we all know about Max Pentecost's injury history.
Right.
He's 23 now. He's a little old for Lansing, but that's because of the injury. So he's off to a good start. We know he's got the good stick. But in your article, you talked a little bit about his defensive abilities, which is I wanted to cue in on. He's been called a good athlete.
Right.
So he's developing his defensive game. how is his arm? Is it a strong arm? Is it something you would consider an asset?
That's kind of one of the things. I mean, right now in the early going, they basically are just using him as a DH, so I haven't really seen him yet as a catcher.
Okay.
I from his earlier numbers in Vancouver, it looked like he had a little bit of trouble throwing some guys out. But I think I've read that he has a pretty decent arm, but it's one of those things like I haven't seen it for myself, so I'm kind of interested to kind of see like what he looks like when they finally start putting him behind the plate.
Do you project him to stay at catching?
I think right now the goal is for him to stay there. Moving forward, I mean, there's been talk about changing his position because of all his shoulder injuries, but I think right now the goal for him and the organization's goal is to keep him behind the plate.
What is it with the Blue Jays trying to develop a catcher? What's the deal with that? I mean, J.P. Arancibia, Travis d'Arnaud, guys that just don't seem to be able to catch, and now Max Pentecost is another one. It just seems kind of a strange thing that we have.
I think a lot of it. I mean, you know, it's hard for them to find, for any team really, to find a catcher that can really hit the ball well. So I think basically that they're hoping that they can translate his skills because he does have the ability to hit the ball. So if they can get him to be at least above average catcher, he has an advantage over some of the guys in the system.
Do you know about any previous history with Kennesaw State or in summer ball?
A little bit. I think Kennesaw State, I mean, they have some history in developing baseball players, but, I mean, I think, obviously, Max Pentecost is the biggest name to ever come out of their program. So he's kind of a guy, like, if he gets to the major leagues, that's really going to put their name on the map.
But you don't know of any injury history while he played there or in summer ball?
Not really. I think he had one shoulder injury, but I don't know if that was from high school or college. He had one prior to entering professional baseball, but I'm not sure what year it was.
Is that his throwing arm?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay, yeah. Well, that sucks a little bit extra.
Yeah.
So I think I tweeted this out to you before, and you responded. You know, I looked at their stats, the offensive side. I didn't see a lot of guys that jumped out at me, but the Andrew Goyette, am I saying that right?
His last name's pronounced Yacht.
Yacht. I mean, he looks like a guy who's got a good plate discipline. He's got speed, but again, he's 23 years old. What do you make of him?
He's a really good player. Obviously, he's a little bit old for the level, but I mean, he's a 4-year college guy. I would say, you know, at this stage, if he can continue to develop the way he has, he could kind of be like a Kevin Pillow, because Kevin Pillow was kind of in a similar boat in Lansing. He was like 23. He was a late round pick. He came out, you know, college the same amount of time. So, I mean, Andrew Guillotte has that kind of ability. I mean, he has above average speed. He has a great plate approach. He doesn't strike out a lot. He can draw a lot of walks. He has a decent amount of power. Like, he's kind of a smaller guy, so, like, when you see him, it's kind of surprising how much power he has. Yeah. But, I mean, it's gonna be one of those things, like, I don't think we'll really know if he's, like, a legitimate prospect until he gets a level or two higher. Because right now, he's a little bit older for the level, so, like, I think he's definitely under the radar till, like, we can get him into maybe Dunedin or New Hampshire and see if he can kind of continue the same level of success that he has in the Midwest League.
Now, Brian, do you see any guys down there that could be kind of flying under the radar, that could be kind of successful later on in their careers, that are kind of under the radar at this moment?
Obviously, we talked about Andrew Guillotte. Juan Kelly's another one. He's been in the system a couple of years, but he's really starting to come into his own this year. He leads the Midwest League in extra base hits. I think he leads also in doubles. But he has a really good bat. He's really developing a lot of power in the lower levels of the minor leagues. Like in rookie ball, he didn't possess that much of it, but he's showing a lot more of it now. He's performed performing primarily at first base this year, and he's doing well there. I mean, he also has the ability to play third base and catcher. So, I mean, he has value because he can play multiple positions, and he has he's shown that he can hit at a high level, and he has a fairly good plate approach. A little bit aggressive at times, but, I mean, you could coach him to being a valuable piece down the road. Another one would be pitcher Angel Perdomo. I mean, right now, I think MLB.com ranks him like the organization's like 23rd best prospect, but he's as good as a pitcher as, you know, some of the higher touted guys on that list, like Reid-Foley and Jon Harris. I mean, he has excellent deception on all his pitches. He when he can get out of jams like no other. I mean, he had a game the other day like where he had like the bases loaded and like only I think like one out, and he got out of the jam without allowing any runs. I mean, really good stuff. Probably I'd say about a mid to high 90s fastball. Really good changeup. So, I mean, there's a couple guys that, you know, I think will start to gather a lot more attention moving forward.
And just to touch on Perdomo, I was looking at his numbers. He's got great minor league numbers. He's a 6'6" guy, 200 pounds.
Yeah.
He's tall and skinny, I assume, at 200. But he's only 22. I mean, does he carry that weight? What, does he have some space to fill out?
I think he's a little bit bigger than that. I think that's an old estimate.
Right.
I think right now, I think he's actually like 6'7", and I would say he weighs more than 200. He's a good-sized guy. But yeah, he's a really dominant pitcher, and I would be surprised if he's in Lansing all year because he's just dominating the league.
Well, what jumped out at me was his 187 opposing batting average in 185 innings. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, he's got really good stuff. Coach Jeff Ward is raves about that kid. He loves his stuff. He says he can get deception on every one of his pitches, and that probably leads to those great numbers is that he can really keep hitters off balance with everything he throws. I think too, by the end of the year, like when they re-rank the positions, like the players within the organization, he's going to be ranked a lot higher than 23rd.
That's in the Blue Jays organization, you mean? That's his rank? Yeah. Yeah, well, the numbers would suggest he certainly should be ranked higher, but anyway. So let's attack some of the pitchers that we see. Jon Harris, Reid-Foley, Francisco Rios.
Yeah, all three of them love them.
Now, Rios has moved up to Dunedin.
Yeah.
But would you describe him as he was an under-the-radar guy?
Oh yeah, easily. I mean, the first month of the year that he was in Lansing, I mean, he was probably the best pitcher in the rotation. And that's certainly not to take anything away from Harris or Reid-Foley or Perdomo. I mean, he's got four, I would say, roughly above average major league pitchers right now. I would say the one that needs the most work is probably his changeup, which is a pitch that the Blue Jays organization is very high on. So, I mean, that's something he'll work on down the road. But his curveball and slider are excellent. I mean, a lot of deception, really messes up the hitter's timing. I mean, really good fastball, can get it up to around 96 miles an hour.
Wow.
So I would say, yeah, he's definitely under the radar, much like Perdomo. I think at the end of the year, you're going to start seeing more love from him, from people that's ranking this organization, because they definitely have his value a lot lower than it should be.
Well, and he's still just 21.
Yeah, he just turned 21, so he's still, I mean, he's young for Dunedin, and if he can pitch in Dunedin like he did in Lansing, he might even be in New Hampshire before this year's done.
Yeah.
Now, Jon Harris, I have a hard-on for this guy. Is this guy for real? Is this guy the real deal?
Yeah, I would say so. He was, obviously the organization's first-round pick last year, had a little bit of trouble in Vancouver, so I really didn't know what to expect from him entering this year, and he comes into the year, I mean, he went through a lot of mechanical changes during the instructional league last year, so he came in, like, poised to be really good this year, but his very first outing, he had a little bit of trouble, and he only got through, like, two-thirds of an inning, I think, like, walked 3 guys, allowed a couple runs, and I wasn't sure what to make of him. But since that one shaky outing, he's pretty much been untouchable in Lansing. I mean, I think I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I think he's only allowed maybe a run or two since that.
Yeah, I've seen his numbers; they've been pretty outstanding.
He's pretty much been untouchable. So I would say right now with Rios gone, he's the best pitcher in their rotation. He's, I mean, a little bit older for the level. He's 22. He'll be 23 later this year. So I would think if he can continue this pace going, he'll be in the Needham pretty soon. You know, he could be like Rios. He could be another guy that they could kind of fast track a bit if there's an opportunity for that further down the season. But yeah, everything other than that one out and everything I've seen from him, he's the real deal.
So his numbers in Vancouver were fairly poor, if I remember correctly. However, it was described that he was working on a lot of mechanical issues. So he was at the first base side of the rubber. Now he's at the third base side of the rubber, which he has described as a big improvement. He worked on his changeup grip. So do you do you throw away the Vancouver numbers?
Right now I would. At first, you know, like I said, till I got to see him a few times, I was hoping that was just a fluke, but after seeing him, I've seen him pitch now, I think like 4 times. Yeah. Excuse me. And I think, I've been really impressed. I would say that, you know, whatever they had him work on in the fall, it's really starting to pay off. He's got a really good fastball. I think he can get it up around 94, 95. Excellent not changeup. He's working on that. The curveball. His curveball is excellent. He can really get a lot of swing and misses with that pitch. Jeff Lewis said he's helping him with the changeup. That's the one pitch they want the most improvement with. But overall, yeah, I would say he's definitely moving in the right direction.
So let's talk about the other big guy, Sean Reid-Foley, number 2 Jays pitching prospect. It's clear that command is his biggest problem. There's really no other way to describe it. It was awful last year. It's better this year, but 15 walks into 25 1/3 innings is nothing to be excited about. Do you see that working itself out, or this is just going to be an issue with? Is it something in his mechanics, or what do you see there?
I think last year part of his problem was he was really just going out there and throwing hard, and I think they have helped him adjust his mechanics some this year. This year, I think some of it is just helping him. I want to say maybe helping him with his confidence. I mean, he does look a lot better this year. I mean, obviously his walk numbers don't necessarily show it, but he's getting. Last year, I would say he primarily lived off his fastball, and he worked in his secondary pitches some. But this year, he's come a long ways with his curveball. He's working some, I think, on his sliders. So I mean, I think he is a better pitcher this year. I think it's just a matter of him getting more innings and actually being able to work on that fastball command. I mean, he can get up to I think about 97, 98. So. Like a lot of guys who throw hard, sometimes it's just the command's not always there. So I think he needs to work on his fastball command a bit. And I think, though, seeing him last year and seeing him this year, though, I think he is improving in the right areas. And I would be surprised if he stays in Lansing all year. I think, he'll be in the Needham pretty soon. And they'll probably help him with more, coaching with his command.
And he's just 20.
Yeah, he's still really young.
Just a kid, yeah.
I think that's a lot of it still. He's still making that transition from going from high school baseball to professional baseball. I mean, last year, I don't think anybody really expected him to be on a full season team just basically 1 year out of high school. And he got up there, and, he did all right. But, he had a little bit of command issues, and... when you deal with a young power arm like him, that happens. I think right now it's a matter of him slowing down the motion some and actually working on the fastball command. I mean, I just talked to Jeff Whale, and he raved about his code ball, that he thinks his code ball is a major league quality pitch.
Wow.
So, I mean, he is improving a lot in the secondary pitches. And I think if he can continue to grow in those areas, he'll be a big league arm here. I don't know how far, probably maybe like 2 years down the road, you're going to see him in the major leagues.
Now, he's listed 6'3", 220. Is that a developed frame, or has he still got room to grow? These things, I mean, you hear about frames filling out, and like with Aaron Sanchez this year, they talked about him getting a little bit bigger, adding some weight, and it seems to have really helped him. So it seems like that is something that can be helpful. Does he have room to grow, or is that what he is?
I think he has room to grow. I mean, he looks like he could, add a little extra weight to his frame. I think, and that's probably something they're going to have him address here in the upcoming seasons, that just to have him like bulk up a little bit. I mean, he's only 20, so I would say that they probably believe that he can add a little bit of weight and get a little bit bigger and stronger here in the next couple of seasons.
And is that just about endurance?
It could be. I'm not really sure about that.
Yeah.
I would say that it could be just in helping them with their endurance and like stretch it out in certain situations. And I think though that I would say he would definitely have the room to grow, and I would think it would definitely help him, because I mean obviously it's helped Aaron Sanchez and other pitchers in the organization just to get a little bit bigger. I think it mainly is to kind of give them extra endurance.
So, I mean, we've hit on all the people that we were interested in talking about, and your knowledge is awesome. But I just wanted to ask about the Lansing team itself.
Okay.
Do you having covered them, do you become a fan? Two questions here. Do you become a fan, and whether you do or you don't, the constant changeover must be a roller coaster for the fan base that watches these guys, promotions and whatnot. Is that true?
Well, part of, when you cover them, they always say like you're supposed to be kind of like like impartial to the players and the team. But I mean, when you get to know the players, I think you do become a fan of some of them, because I mean you get to know them, they get to know you a little bit. So, I mean, deep down, I mean, you hope that all of them do their best and they can get as far as they can, because you kind of build, like a little bit of a relationship with them. And as far as the roller coaster, I would say it probably does. I mean, but I think that's part of the business of minor league baseball. The job is to get these guys to the next level and to get them as far as they can in their career. And obviously, Lansing's just one step of the ladder for them. I mean, obviously, if you offer a player a chance to play in Lansing all year or earn that promotion, they want the promotion. So, I mean, it comes with the territory, and I think the fans do understand that. I mean, obviously, there's certain players that, I mean, they would love to see stay all year because of their ability and stuff, but at the end of the day, it is a business, and you want these guys to have as much success as possible, and that success comes from them getting better in Lansing and getting to the next stage in their career and taking it from there.
That's so true. Well, Brian, we want to sincerely thank you for coming on the show and doing this with us. We also hope to have a strong relationship with you in the coming shows. Maybe over the next 2 weeks we could check in with you and see how things are going again. But aside from that, we sincerely want to thank you for coming on the show, and we really look forward to hearing from you again, man.
Thank you, Brian.
That's great. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thank you. Take care.